You're gonna have to sit.
All right. Are you ready, Grandmother?
Yeah.
Okay. You ready over there, honey?
Mm-hmm.
All right. If anybody wants to chime in or whatever, just let me know. Okay. So we're sitting here with Grandmother. We're going to ask her a few questions. So just we can get some more family information here.
Okay.
All right. The first one is, what is your full name, including any nicknames you may have had?
Oh my
Okay, my full name is Helen Burnice Pitts, P-I-T-T-S. And my nickname was Helen. Daddy always called me Helen. He never called me Ed. And that's the only nickname I had ever had except Red.
I think so.
Yeah, they did call me Red.
Oh, that's right. I remember
They
that.
teased me about being a redhead. Redhead gingerbread, 5 cents cabbage head. And redhead woodpecker sitting on the fence trying to cheat a man out of 15 cents. And it embarrassed me, and sometimes when I was in school and they got on to me, I was mean. If they wanted to fight about it, I would.
I can't imagine.
I don't believe that. Were you named after anybody else? Were you named after somebody?
No, Mother said she named me because she thought I was so beautiful, and Helen was a beautiful name. And I found out that it means butterfly.
Really?
It's some kind of language, Latin or something.
Helen means butterfly. Okay, let me see. What is your birth date? What's your birthday?
June the 29th, 1923.
That would make you.
I'll be 85 June the 29th.
Well, we'll have a big party planned right there around that
Good,
time.
I'm ready.
Uh-oh, this one's going to take a minute. It says your marriage dates and locations of each.
Well, the first time I was married in Gulfport, Mississippi to John Allen Seay. He was in the Coast Guard. And we were married in the Baptist church by a Baptist preacher, which Reverend Dodge. And I forgot the date when I was married.
It's not important.
I really forgot the date. But 9 months and 9 days after I was married, I had a baby.
That's pretty good timing.
And John is 40, will be 47 in July the 15th.
How old?
I mean, 67.
67.
Yeah, he'd be
Wow.
67.
Yeah.
Where were you married?
In Gulfport, Mississippi.
And that's where you grew up.
Yeah, I grew up, but I was born in Picayune, Mississippi.
Picayune. Yeah, because that's the Picayune Times. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're going to Louisiana.
And after Johnny, or
After I was married to Johnny, I had 2 children by him. John Allen Seay Jr. and Joanne. John Allen Seay was born in Gulfport, Mississippi. Joanne was born in St. Petersburg, Florida.
and then next was after that marriage ended.
I married,
Oh, what's his name?
It must-
Mac McCowan.
Mac McCowan. That one must not have lasted too long.
It lasted a full month. And I ran away. So I left him because it just wasn't meant to be. Because I didn't like the way he did, and I don't know. Really, Mother had just about talked me into that marriage, because he was a captain, you know, and all that mess in the Air Force. And I really wasn't in love with him, and when he come in one night and vomited all over me in the bed, me and drunk, that was it. Took off.
Sound like ground for leaving to me.
All right, next.
My next marriage, I was 21, I think, or 22. And I married Harold Young Rutherford. And we got married here in Atlanta.
How did you meet?
I met him through his family. Barbara Ann introduced us. What was Barbara Ann's last name?
Nichols?
I forgot.
I don't know. She married a couple times too.
Anyway, it was
Well,
his
it's
first
Beard,
cousin.
Beard. Yeah.
Were you up here in
Yeah, I
Atlanta?
was here. And I was working at Rich's.
Oh, okay. See, I'm learning all this too.
Yeah.
Me too.
I worked with Rich's in downtown. And we went together for about 6 or 7 months before we ever got married. And I was living with his aunt, Gertrude Beard. I had a boarded room over there. Of course, I had to stay in the room with her two girls. What was their name?
You put me on the spot now.
Don't you know?
Sue.
Huh? Sue and
I don't know. Doug's sisters. And
anyway, Doug was a little tiny boy,
yeah.
and he called me Aunt Welly. He couldn't say Helen. He called me Aunt Welly, and he'd follow me around.
Virginia.
You know. Yeah, he still does that.
Sue in Virginia.
Sue in Virginia.
Sorry about
Okay.
that, guys.
And so then, after we got married, we moved in with his mother for a few months, and then we got us an apartment of our own. And he taught me out of working for Rich's and go to work at what was the name of that shirt place he worked at? Arrow Shirt Company, where he worked. And then he became a policeman. He decided he wanted to be a policeman because his daddy was. So after he became a policeman, we found us a home, and we got it because he had been in the Army, so we got it off of that, what do you call it?
VA.
VA loan. We didn't have to pay but $70 a month. House notes.
Wow, that's nice.
You remember how much the house was? What you paid for it?
Yeah. $75,000.
$7,500.
Yeah, $7,500.
Yeah.
Wow.
We got that house for it. Yeah.
Now that's what you pay tax on a new car.
And I suppose you had some kids.
Oh yeah, and then after a while, after he became a policeman, he made me stop working. He said he didn't want his wife working. And the first child we had was Melanie Diane, and she's
60.
60 now.
She's born 47.
Yeah, I guess so. It's been so long. I've got them written down, but I
Yeah.
forget.
Yeah, she's born 47.
And then I had
January of 16.
Rusty, which his name is Harold Rutherford Jr.
Oh.
Don't forget the young.
Harold Young Rutherford Jr. And what year was it?
December 1st, 1949. I remember it just like it was yesterday.
You got that, didn't you? And then after they were, I forgot how old you was when.
8.
Yeah, we decided that we would have one more. And we had Debbie Jean Rutherford, and she is now 50 years old.
She's born 58.
July the
25th.
25th.
Okay. Let's see what's the next.
You're missing one.
We're missing a kid?
Marriages.
Who?
Or
We had Johnny, Joanne,
There's 5 of us.
Melanie,
Marriages.
Debbie.
Who?
marriages.
Oh, marriages. Yeah, I did miss a marriage. That's right. I can't go on to the next question. We got one more
Oh.
marriage.
Oh, Neil.
That's right.
Okay, 22, let's see, it was 23 years me and your daddy was married. Well, we stayed married 23 years and we finally got a divorce. And about 8 or 9 months after the divorce, I married Seaburn Vernon Abercrombie Jr. And we were married 37 years.
And he went by Neely.
And his nickname was Neely. And we had no children, but he had a son, one son by his first marriage. And his name was Richard, but we called him Ricky.
All right. Let's see what. We'll go down a different route. Let me see. We've got your parents' names.
Well, my mother's maiden name was Ruby Busby, and Daddy's was Jesse Emmanuel Pitts.
Okay. And do you know how long they were married?
Well, let's see. I was about 10, I think I was about 10 or 12 years old when they divorced. So they were married a good, I'd say 15 years.
Okay. Did they remarry?
Yeah, he remarried a lady that was called Lorraine King. He married Lorraine King, and Mother remarried Mr. Cornell.
See, our families may have intertwined there again. Kings and the.
She was from Texas.
I don't know, but they moved to Texas
Yeah,
after
they
they
lived
got
in Houston.
married. They moved to Houston.
Well, I guess going back to your childhood, what was it like growing up in the time period you did?
Well, we were raised back during the Depression, and I remember it very well. But luckily, my daddy had a good garden, and of course, Mama knew how to make good food, and we did pretty well during the Depression. But then Mom and Daddy had finally separated, kind of, in when I can remember it. And of course he'd come home sometime, and he'd always seem to be home at mealtime. He loved Mama's biscuits. But all in all, we had a good childhood. We were sort of like what you'd call a middle class family.
Okay.
Because he was a fireman. And
Back then, was fireman a profession?
yeah.
I didn't know it was a full-time thing. I thought
Yeah,
back then
no,
it was-
it's a full-time thing. He was on the fire department.
Where did y'all live?
We lived in a beautiful house. We had our own home then.
I mean, what city? Is that
Oh, we
Gulfport?
lived in North Gulfport.
Okay.
And the house was white, and it had dark green shutters, and it had a white picket fence around it, and Daddy had roses planted all around that fence, and it was beautiful. So we really had a nice childhood. Back then, of course, we didn't have the luxuries that they have nowadays. But I remember that we were always comfortable, had plenty to eat, and we were happy because they'd have this thing. Mama used to make us beautiful little clothes. Because back in those days, if you went to a dance or something, you dressed up in evening clothes. And every Saturday night, they'd have it was a policeman's ball at the pavilion over the water. And they'd have that place, you know, for the fireman's ball. And Mama used to fix us up pretty too. And I remember us kids, we used to dance with each other, you know, and everything. And I'd get on Daddy's feet.